The Pacific Ocean, our 4,200 nautical mile adventure to paradise, and the greatest test we've faced yet as husband and wife world circumnavigators. Out here, somewhere between the shores of Panama and a distant Polynesian paradise, every day at sea brings its own rhythm. We pass the time in many different ways, savoring tasty meals, finding joy in simple moments, fresh laundry flapping in the ocean breeze, ice-cold popsicles melting in the blazing sun, and even stealing Captain Sean's cowboy hat for a few fun photos in the cockpit. It's kind of like camping in the wilderness, except our tent floats, moves, and requires constant teamwork to stay safe, happy, and sane. But hidden aboard Tela Ru is something even better, a secret that turns uncertainty into confidence, roughing it into comfort, and simple survival into absolute freedom. We call it our onboard hero, and it's the reason we thrive instead of just survive, no matter how remote or vast the ocean. By the end of this video, you'll see what our sailing superpower is and why it's vital to how we cross oceans and live on board Tela Ru. This is crossing the Pacific Ocean, the adventure of a lifetime, exactly as it happens.
One wave at a time.
Welcome back to Sailing Tela Ru. We are currently sailing across the South Pacific Ocean. We're gonna make landfall in the Marquesas in probably about 3 weeks, or maybe even farther out than that. It is currently day 6 at sea. We've got about 1.5 to 4 knots of wind at most. We are having to motor. As you can see, our conditions are super glassy. But before we dive deeper into day 6, let's rewind and quickly catch y'all up to speed. In our last episode aboard Tela Ru, 3, 2, 1.
The equator.
We hit a massive sailing milestone, crossing the equator, and there we were, the two of us beneath a blanket of stars.
A momentous moment calls for a sip. Ooh-wee.
Celebrating a moment we once only dreamed of. If you missed that special moment, we'll link the video in the top right-hand corner and down in the description so you can catch up on that adventure next. Then yesterday, day 5 at sea, began like every sailor dreams. The sunrise spilling colors across the horizon, no distractions, no noise, just raw, unfiltered beauty that somehow never, ever gets old out here.
Y'all, it's a truly stunning first morning here in the Southern Ocean. We had our ceremony last night honoring King Neptune, god of the oceans. We celebrated with King Neptune with a special bottle of Jack Daniel's Frank Sinatra special edition that we picked up on the island of Lanzarote in the Canary Islands of Spain and carried it with us until this special moment. What an amazing time to be alive here aboard good old Tela Ru, y'all.
As the tropical sun intensified, we indulged in one of our favorite daily rituals: ice-cold popsicles under a Pacific sky. Frozen popsicles are currently saving my life. With glassy conditions and plenty of daylight, Captain Sean's cowboy hat found itself in my hands for a spontaneous Pacific photo shoot. Those photos can be found on our Patreon site, linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Afternoon eased into evening, and with barely enough wind to fill our sails, we settled in with a movie, watching Interstellar while drifting along in the world's largest ocean. The day wrapped up with a delicious meal whipped up by Captain Sean, reminding us always that life on board Tela Ru is as much about savoring simple pleasures as it is about adventure. And that brings us right back to day 6. We are also sailing with a superpower, and Sean has more on that now.
Well, y'all, here we are on day 6, currently southeast of the Galapagos, and we are headed in the south-southwest direction, looking for those trade winds. We got to get down to the trade wind belt so it can blow us all the way to the Marquesas. We're still got about 3,100 miles to go, y'all, and right now we got a relatively flat, calm sea state. So I wanted to take a minute out here and share with y'all what I think is sailing with a superpower. If there is one superpower that you can take with you sailing across oceans, that is the ability to make water, y'all. Without the ability to make water, the only water you got is the water that's in your tank and whatever spare water jugs you may be carrying along with you. And on a 4,000-mile passage like this, that means you're going to be rationing water. Now, y'all may be sitting there thinking, well, what do you mean superpower? Well, it's like this. It does 3 things for you. It keeps you and your crew healthier, happier, and safer. Well, what do I mean by healthier? Well, when you have the ability to make virtually unlimited water, that means you don't have to ration. And that means you can take a shower every single day. And when you take a shower every single day, you're cleaner. And in my opinion, that means you're healthier. You sit out here in this hot, baking sun day after day, and you go 3, 4, 5, 7 days without a shower. In my opinion, y'all, that ain't too healthy, because you see, sitting out here in the sun, you don't have to be working. You can just be sitting doing nothing, and you can have sweat running down your back like a horse sitting in Sunday school class. So if you don't have to ration water, you can take frequent showers, you're healthier. Number 2, how does it make you happier? If you're cleaner, you're much happier. And there's something about your state of mind that is so much better at the end of a hot, long day out here when you can go take a nice, refreshing shower and get clean. That makes you overall happier and with a happier mental state when you can be clean. And how does that translate to number 3? Safety. When you're healthy and you're happy, you sleep better. When you can clean your tail and not go to bed funky like a monkey, and when you can get some good, well-deserved rest during your off time, you're going to sleep better. And when you sleep better, that means you're more alert and you're ready to handle whatever the conditions may throw at you out here. Because you never know out here when things are going to turn to shit. And if you're well rested and you've had some good sleep, you're less likely to make mistakes. And when you make mistakes out here, they can be costly or even potentially deadly. That's why I think the number 1 superpower you can have on a sailboat out here crossing oceans is the ability to make water. And y'all, another thing, while we're talking about water, if y'all watched our second Atlantic crossing video, or if you didn't, you can catch the link in the description below. But we used seawater from our wash down pump to do our laundry and wash our clothes. And we have read that the clothes flapping in the wind as they dry out in the sun to flap all the salt out be just fine. And y'all, I reckon it was just fine until it wasn't. Because you see, washing them clothes in that salt water and hanging them out in this baking sun, then having those salty sun-dried clothes out here in this heat up next to your groins and loins. But y'all, let me tell you, that was just rougher than a night in the county jail. Not only was it not good, it was downright bad. So on this crossing, we decided to do it a little bit different. We got these here 5-gallon potable water jugs. And while we got our good old Rain Man water maker fired up, we're gonna fill these jugs up and use some desalinized water to do our laundry. No more scratchy, itchy drawers on this passage, y'all.
I don't know if y'all can see, but it's like all of a sudden there's like trash. There's a big box in the water of some sort. And there's trash all around. Like plastic bottles. Oh, lovely. A nice bird. But yeah, as you can see, it looks like somebody's trash accidentally went overboard or something. That's unfortunate. After making water under the bright, sunny Pacific Ocean sky, a rain shower cooled things off. Sometimes it can feel like we are living in the elements and kind of camping on the ocean. And sometimes it feels like a blessing to cool off with a rain shower. And then Sean did his thing in the galley and cooked us a hot meal for dinner. The clouds eventually parted again, and it was time to close out day 6 with alternating night watches from the cockpit. Alright y'all, day has turned into night. We have had a little bit more wind, but for the most part we've got like 5-6 knots of wind, and so we're motoring, trying to get to those trade winds. Stop using fuel. Been over 900 miles now. So. Anyway, my watch is about to be over and I'm about to go get 4 hours of sleep, and I'm really excited about that. Before my night watch on day 6 ended, we entered some shallow water, over 900 nautical miles into our passage, crossing the Pacific Ocean, way out there, with no islands near, and we were in less than 30 feet of water. This shallow water was not listed on the chart, so I took pics of our instruments for the proof. But it didn't dip below 21 feet, and we were soon back in hundreds of feet of water again, and then thousands of feet of water again. Okay, it's time to do laundry. So this is water that you made from the water maker so that we don't have to use salt water to wash our clothes.
Non-stop, yeah.
Perfect. All right, babe, what did you do to our plunger here?
One of our viewers in the comment section said that to make this more efficient for our quote washing machine, we should drill some holes around the plunger to make it more efficient. So we thought we'd give that a try, y'all.
Actually, I do think that was a really good idea to put the holes in this, because I already noticed a big difference. that is going to wrap up today's episode of Sailing Tela Ru as we cross the Pacific Ocean. Wow, it feels absolutely insane to be out here crossing the world's largest ocean, but that's what we're doing. Having a great time and just living life. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can join us all the way around the world as we complete our circumnavigation on our monohull sailboat as husband and wife with absolutely no crew. Drop a hashtag Tela Ru if you made it all the way to the end of this video, and we'll see y'all next time on Sailing Tela Ru.